All right, it is that time once again. Seventh, and we got you covered here on Hit the Book, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish. We will get to his shenanigans on social media here in just a second. We have Zach Phillips, producer extraordinaire, alongside me. I'm just merely Brad Powers. Let me remind you guys, though, before we get into some week 0 games, I'm going to run down all 6 of those games for week 0, what we can dive into them. We'll tackle any other week 1 questions that you have as far as college football. But let me remind everybody, Hit the Books, brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. Stamp before you bet. Download today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks or hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it does help support the show. Knish, as usual, I feel like Zach should be playing underneath our little segment here. Maybe some Young and the Restless or some soap opera. You never cease to disappoint when it comes to the bet.
Well, listen, baby. Listen. Joey K's not stepping away from a little bit of a Twitter warrior. Hey, we're all in, baby. Listen, that's what it's got to do. To start it up. So listen, we're not backing down, baby, on this show. So yeah, a little head to head, having a little fun on there, and good day to mix it up. Also, if you noticed. On time today. 5 o'clock sharp. Live shows are back. Right. Let us know. We got people in the chat. We got shows going. So it feels good to be back here. Hit the Books live show. Little week 0, week 1 action. Living the dream in the Midwest, baby. That's all. That's what we got to say. I know people are saying Brad's connection. We thought the man would have, we'd be bad. We gave him all off season to get the connection right. Joey K shows up on time, and he still hasn't got the internet
updated. Yeah, it's unbelievable. We did reviews. I had here we are. Struggling, I guess. I don't know. I had nothing opened up. I closed. I'll tell you what might have happened. I opened up my Dom Best because our buddy Hitman decided as soon as we go live, he's going to release some preseason plays. So I
saw that. Great timing. Great timing by I had all day. Didn't release nothing. Then soon as we go live.
Let me say this, Knish, and hopefully my internet gets better here with the internet. It just never ceases to amaze me. We finally do a live show, and then there's issues. When it comes to betting, I want to get this out there. When it comes to betting weeks, I'm in on almost every game. Have you? What's your portfolio look like?
Yeah, the week 0, week 1. We started loading up. There was a decent amount, and I know some people out there in their Twitter sphere will say, "Oh, you didn't wait till 2 hours before the game to start getting down." These lines, they've been out for a while. There's ways to get down, good chunks of money. So we have. I know we both started building up the folio. Got a decent amount of week 1, week 0 action already out there, and now. A lot of the news track, obviously, some of the early stuff's going to be just, basic numbers plays, but now you start getting some of the fall camp reports, some of the information coming out. So a little bit of the updated with what's happening with the rosters, who's jumping in and out, the media. So some of the other shows like that do the hashtag media day, the quotes and that. So, some good stuff that's coming out of fall camp already. So, yeah, and I don't think there's any shortage of opportunities still going on.
I will get to a bunch of the comments today. I missed all the viewers out there reacting to you guys live. Dog Guan. It'll be interesting. I am Knish. I don't know if you know this. I'm not going to break too much news, but I might be working with your buddies over there back east, doing a show or two this year. So You and I are going to have an interesting dynamic. Maybe I'll have to play referee in between you and Barstool.
Wait, which group? Which group?
The group that you're always feuding with.
Oh,
the pizza group.
I didn't know. I know the Barstool Brad here. Yeah, gotta listen.
Yeah, I mean, that will be a very.
They had Kelly in Vegas, and they upgrade to Brad Powers.
Between you and me, I don't know, man. I try to work with everybody. I know that everyone has their fights with everybody. I try to get along with everyone, and then therefore everyone hates me because of it. But it is what it is. So that's gonna be funny. I'll have to play referee between you and the guys.
First off, I didn't even come. I just saw the shirt, the creamsicle hat mixed with the BG polo. I mean, you were ready, my friend. That's a nice combo you got going on there. I gotta tell you, I mean, you better. But the ladies on Fremont better watch out tonight if you're going out there, because you got pretty nice, sauce going on for the week one.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I got to impress all the people that are in town. Aren't you still on the panel, or did Rovell get you?
No, he hasn't got me.
Are you still on the panel?
Yeah, I'm still on the panel, trying to get in. It'll be later in the week. Joey K, as this company knows, Joey K's travel plan sometimes can get a little flaky. But that's the plan for the moment. I will hopefully be in sometime on Thursday. But listen, as we know, it's the traveling these days, especially if you book through certain companies, can be a little risky. So, but yeah, that's the plan for the moment, is to be on the Bet Bash panel Friday, but I wouldn't be in till later in the week. Some people are there like now, like Pizzola. He's like at the sports book already, like watching Circa.
Yeah, I was surprised. I saw a lot of people rolled in already. I mean, I live here. I mean, it's. I try to avoid. I mean, I'm officially a local now that I've been here so long. I try to avoid the Strip and Fremont Street as much as I can. I just, how it is, Knish. I'm over that at that point. Let me get to this, because I know some of the comments are talking about some.
No, go ahead. We got you back. We got you back. Yep.
Jesus. What we might end up having to do is restarting this thing, because it's so bad. So I apologize for being choppy. I don't know what's going on. You and I literally did 10 hours of previews, and we didn't have any of this. It never ceases to amaze me. Let me ask you this, because hopefully we can get through this. I won't make this very long. We'll make this 15, 20 minutes, because I see in the comments here. I am able to read the comments, guys, even though the connection's pretty bad. I'm seeing Hunter Deckers. You and I talked about this. You were way on top of it. You kind of alerted me to this a couple months ago. What happened was, obviously, he's going to be out for a significant part of time. I mean, I would say that he's done with the team. Wouldn't you say? I mean, what we saw was immediate money on the win total under. They pulled all the game of the years off the board. They play an FCS opponent. Iowa State does in week one, so that game wasn't even available. But, I mean, that's a downgrade of about 2.5, 3 points. What say you, Knish?
Yeah, I agree. That was some of the stuff that started leaking over the summer. I didn't think it was going to be as, as blatant, just because it was taking so long to come out there. But then when it does come out, it's kind of worse. I mean, just even though the amounts weren't substantial, the fact there was like a video of him saying he knew it was illegal, what he was doing, technically illegal, that got dropped on there. There was, he's making accounts. I would say the one thing that we're still is like, how many other guys for Iowa State, could potentially be involved in this. There were some offensive linemen in that. But obviously, Deckers wasn't great, but the downgrade's going to be, as you said, at least a couple of points. How many more people in the program are going to be involved in that? Some of the questions I would have is, and I don't know if this will affect college football as much, but with Alabama baseball, when that thing happened where, the coach is trying to get down on a game, they pulled the games for the rest of the season. You weren't able to bet, even when they were in the College World Series. They never reposted in Alabama. And so, yeah, you said some of the Iowa State game win total, I don't know. I mean, there's a chance like their games, some places aren't even going to be posted up. People are sort of like, shook with that stuff. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's a little, if you're an Iowa State kid, it's concerning from a program standpoint of where that's going. But yeah, I know there were some people, including yourself before all this came out, that thought they could be kind of a bye team this year. And then, with Decker's gone, potentially some other guys, it looks like it could be kind of a lost season here. And maybe Matt Campbell missed his, the opportunity to cash out here for his career to the Iowa State. It's kind of, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm going to get to a few injuries because I think, early fall camp, I'm not sure that people are on the beat as much as following some early camp injuries or guys not on the roster. Wisconsin down their top 2 tight ends for the year. Cundiff and Eschenbach out for them. They did get a transfer from Air Force. That was Air Force starting cornerback. That's a positive for Wisconsin, kind of offsetting those top 2 tight ends. Northwestern's in bad shape. They've lost like 4 or 5 of their top recruits for this year's freshman class. They can transfer out. So that they have, lost that and then some. I mean, their safety, Jeremiah Lewis, is supposed to be an expected starter, is gone. Just breaking today, or at least in the last 24 hours, Donovan Green, the Wake Forest wide receiver, he's out 3 to 5 months. That should affect your power rating. I don't know, a quarter point or something. All this will add up over time. I would say a key transfer very late in the process. Rice loses their top wide receiver, that Rosner kid. He's at NC State. You watch NC State's spring game. They desperately needed a wide receiver. So I thought that was a major positive for NC State, negative for Rice. Another wide receiver. Anything else catching your eye? I know it's early in camp. I don't think any injuries have really affected a point spread, sort of say, other than the Deckers news. Anything that's catching your eye early on at camp? It could be injuries. It could be a quarterback race. Anything that you've read in the last week, Knish?
No, touch on what our man Wade there said in the comments. Yesterday, some stuff broke. There was some, and I don't know how much of it was legit, of Dante Moore not being too happy with his role in at UCLA. He came out and addressed it. Was so the rumor mill was churning so much that he came out and actually tweeted it, or X marked the spot, or whatever you call it now, about having to address it. That no, he's happy in that. I will say, he specifically, it was an interesting recruitment. I think he specifically chose UCLA because he wanted to start from the jump, because he wanted to. That's why he was originally like, none of the local schools were in, because they had some guy. That's why Ohio State, Michigan, that weren't in, because they all had quarterbacks in place. He wasn't going to start. He goes to Oregon. Nick stays. And I think the biggest thing, I remember reading, like, he called Chip Kelly, seeing the opportunity. That was what he wanted, was to play from day one. And if he's not the guy to start the season, I think there's a little bit of, could he be unhappy in that? So he had a weird recruitment. A lot of the local teams he wasn't that interested in. It seemed like he was looking for some situation out there where he could get a piece of NIL, but also wanted to start from day one. If he's not ready, or I know they have a couple other options in Schlee and Garbers. I don't know. We'll see. But I think he's a great player. But yeah, weird recruitment. We'll see what happens. If he doesn't get the starting job. So yeah, I don't know. Something to monitor, especially if he doesn't start that week 1 game. He would be a guy that, like, I tell you, if he doesn't get, he'd be an instant transfer portal guy if he doesn't get opportunity this year. I would assume.
Oh yeah, I mean, right now I'd say he's either not going to start, and that'll make him pissed off, or he's not going to get paid, and that'll tick him off. So there was some red flags in his recruitment. Very weird recruitment, to say the least. So we'll see what happens there. In the chat that I can read, I know my internet connection's in and out here as far as the broadcasting, and I apologize, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on. I didn't do anything different than what I've done the last 10 shows. South Point game of the years for me. They should have been good. You and I were texting back and forth over the last 24 hours. on these. They were solid, but they should have been solid. I mean, this market's been out for a couple months at 5 or 6 different books. There was a couple of what I call virgin lines that on games that we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
Advantage. I laid 7 with Pittsburgh against Cincinnati week 2. That line wasn't out yet. Penn State, I laid 8. I know I'm chalky, but I laid 8. I think there's the disparity there. I was pretty much anti-Illinois. I know you and I kind of like Illinois, but I thought the guys,
a little too much
the Hall of Famers at South on the line. Nothing major. The big one for me. For Ohio State, I laid 6.5 against Notre Dame. I had like 4 or 5 bets already on the Buckeyes on that game. So I'm telling you guys, it'll be the news story of the week when that game, when you guys flick on your TV and you see Ohio State with more fans than Notre Dame. I just think that's deflating for Notre Dame, the team, when they come out and they see all the red. And I also think, I don't know, I think that's a short point spread for two programs that have been disparate over the last 20, 25 years. So give me Ohio State in that one. Michigan, Charles in the chat. The books are fighting back, taken down. I don't know. I was fine all morning. I've been on the net all morning. I don't know what the deal is. Michigan laying the points week 1. A look. You laid the points with Michigan, but that was prior to the Harbaugh news. Has it been official? I know Harbaugh's likely out. Is the OC and some other coaches out though for week 1, Knish?
Yeah, that would be the concern is that Sharon Moore is looking at a 1-game suspension, so he'll be out. They do have Kirk Campbell on staff, who was OC at Old Dominion for a few years. Now the quarterback's coach, so I would assume he would take over play calling, which I do think is, if you're going to lose Harbaugh and Sharon Moore, that makes a little more sense in terms of the move. I had originally bought some 34.5. I found a 33.5 after some of that move. Added, I actually see you just talked the Hall of Famers at South, but I think there's still there might be this is kind of bounced back now. There's still some flat 34s out there. I would say now, if you can find a 33.5, I don't know if one still it was at FanDuel the other day. I bet I think they moved it. That would be still a buy point for me. So I'm a little underwater on some 34.5, added some 33.5. Little bit more of an ECU fade. I know the OC thing is going to be can be somewhat of an issue, but ECU breaking in, new quarterback, they lost their best playmaker in Keaton Mitchell. Their wide receiver room is pretty brutal. So I don't see their defense really having much success against Michigan schemes. So, yeah, I think if you can find, this is one, be a little patient. If you can see a 33.5 there, I'd buy that up. But you can kind of wait around now. We'll see what that happens. And once the official suspension comes down, if more is going to be included or not.
Trip in the chat, with the clock not stopping, careful laying big points. Yeah, I mean, we priced this right around 2.5 points as far as what the new clock rules. So, I mean, you probably lose the possession. I mean, historically, though, I mean, at least recent history, I mean, the trend lines have been good for the big favorites, to be honest with you. The separation between the haves and have-nots in college football is only getting wider. So I think there's hesitancy on guys like myself to lay big point spreads. And sometimes you get a bargain on some of those teams, Knish. So I think Ralph Michaels, he's always got those historical trends. I've been really good, I think, for the big favorites. I'm talking recently. I'm not a big trends guy anymore. I used to be, but keep that in mind as well. I do believe in the gap only widening in college football, and I think it's only going to continue to widen. JT Moon in the chat. If only Poggi was still around. I'll tell you, what's your thoughts on Biff Poggi at Charlotte? I'm kind of buying it. He's an interesting character. It can't get any worse at Charlotte. I actually like that out of the box hire.
Yeah, I did too. I think, what's his name? Feldman had a great story in regards to how much he changed the culture at Michigan, how much he helped out there. I think buying long-term this year might be a little tough one. I think he's got quite a rebuilding job, but he's going into a situation at Charlotte where it's not like they have a high bar for success there. So I do think he'll be able to get them to a higher level. If he'd obviously be the interim if he was still around. but there's no shortage of guys that they have on staff that can, kind of fill in. But I would expect maybe, week one, Mike Hart's kind of the interim coach there, depending on it. So I think they'll be okay from a coaching standpoint. And I would say, you mentioned the trends. I saw Tripp in the chat. He's a bully. There are some coaches. That's kind of where, that intrinsic knowledge of college football that are not going to just shut down. And I think that's even more of not even just coaches being aware of the spread, but you want to get your guys, your twos and your threes, real reps. Guys aren't just, these great teams, in the college aren't just handing the ball off and running ISO or, fullback dives when they're up by 30 or 40 in the second half. Now, I think you see a lot more teams bringing in their twos, bringing in their threes, and really running their offense. I think you've seen Saban change to that. Harbaugh done it. Urban Meyer was famous for it, where they're going to run their offense. Doesn't matter who's in there. They're going to run their offense. They're going to run their tempo. Doesn't matter what the score is. And I think that's the right way to do it. Why am I going to bring my, second string in and have them, run one play that we're never going to run? You want to get your guys real reps, especially early in the season. And especially guys that have stuck around. Michigan's got for instance, they got a backup quarterback senior transferred in from Indiana, Jack Tuttle. That guy doesn't want to come in there and just in the football off. They want to get him some action, get him some passes, get him a touchdown. So yeah, I think that has some merit.
A lot of comments. I thought it might have been a slow show today. I had this plan. Let's run through all the, a few of these. Trevor in the chat. Bama struggle on the road against the spread the last 2 years. Yeah, I mean, it's just sloppiness. I mean, turnovers, penalties. It's one that it was a red flag, I'll be honest with you, because I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of guys like myself are on the under 10.5 wins. And we have not been in the past, at least recent history, willing to go under an Alabama win total, but we're a little more, optimistic that that's going to cash this year because of the struggles. And that was with Bryce Young at quarterback. Now, I don't know what they got at quarterback. Some early camp thoughts looks like Milrose, the starter right now. That is not great. I mean, if Alabama, I look, a lot of people, 99% of college football love Alabama's roster, but we're comparing Alabama to what do you think about the under in the Florida-Utah game? Well, it's on the move, and reason being is you got a starting quarterback for Utah. That's a question. It's questionable in my opinion, and he is a little more doubtful than questionable, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that was some of the.
Did you get that with the Florida-Utah?
Yeah, some of the info out there, was looking at Cam Rising now. I know publicly they're kind of saying some of the right stuff, but some of the word out there is kind of they might be looking to kind of just focus on the Pac-12 and get him ready for the Pac-12 to try and do the 3-peat, focus on the conference play. I don't know. He definitely, I would put him in that that questionable. And you've seen the number tick down a bit. In terms of, it even hit 10 at some places. I bet a little 8 recently here in the last 24 hours, just thinking that if Rising, the closer this gets, I think there was even one 8.5 out there, but 8 at a few shops, 7.5 the worst. That's when you've seen the total come down, you've seen the price come down, and if Rising doesn't play, that one's going under a touchdown. So I don't blame people and you know what? We're less than 3 weeks out here. I grabbed a little Florida. I'm not going to build the greatest case here that I think Florida's going to be a great team or anything this year, but Utah's offense is not the same. That game's going to be an absolute grinder without Rising. So yeah, I think you can put yourself in somewhat of an okay position right now to grab a little piece of Florida and see what happens on the Rising news. Because right now I'm leaning towards a little bit more skepticism on his availability for that game.
Agree. Florida and Utah, Florida and the under for me are in pocket. I'm not even going to mention the prices I got. So I won't even go there. I still think there'll be some slight value on Florida at the 8.5. Because I agree with you, Knish. Everything that I've read this offseason says even if he does play, he's not going to be near 100%. Before I get into any other questions, I got to take care of some business here. Keep in mind, Hit the Books brought to you by Circa, one of my favorite sports books. Circa, that's where Rob's is right now. Obviously the boss of the Hammer Betting Network. He's at Circa right now, and Circa right now has a couple contests, NFL contests going on right now. It's the Circa Million 5 and the Circa Survivor. $14 million in guaranteed prizes. There is no rake. If the entries go above the guarantee, all the extra money is going to go to the prize pool. Entries have been open for the last couple months. You have until September the 9th at 2 p.m. to get registered. And you can register in person at Circa Sportsbook in Nevada, Las Vegas, Henderson, Sparks, Reno, you name it. You do have to register here in the state of Nevada. Weekly picks, though, can be made through a prize $1 million in guaranteed prize, $1,000 entry. Prizes, the entry that does the worst, there is a booby prize, $100,000 booby prize. Circa Survivor, that contest, $8 million in guaranteed to the winners, $1,000 per entry, maximum 10 entries per person. You pick one team straight up every week to win. The team loses or ties, that entry is eliminated. You can only pick a team one time every season, or once every season. So if you pick the Chiefs week 1, you can't pick the Chiefs again the rest of the seaseason. You got to go 20-0 or be the last person standing to win. If a single person wins, they get the entire pot. If multiple people go 20-0, or if multiple people are eliminated the same week and the contest gets reduced to 0, they split the pot. Thanksgiving and Black Friday combined for a week, as does Christmas Day. That's why you need to go 20-0. That is the Circa Million 5 and the Circa Survivor. I know you take part in those contests, Knish. Those are the two best NFL contests.
Yeah, no doubt that. I mean, those contests are big.
Let's get to a few games some weeks here. No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh no, dude. I was trying to. Hey, listen, those Circa contests. I agree. They've kind of put a stake in all the rest of the NFL contests out there. So yeah, those are the ones in terms of the guarantees and even potential overlay. That it's basically they've created the new standard for NFL contests if you want to be in it.
I want to get your thoughts on this Notre Dame Navy game. I'm in. A lot of people are disagreeing with me. I'm on the over. That's what I love. Week 0. It's the first game of the season. I just think it's I'm not a trend guy, but I watched this series my whole life. I think it's a perfect over series. Basically, Notre Dame can't replicate Navy's offense, even though I see it every year. They struggle to defend it, the option. They can't replicate it in practice. Similarly, on the other side, Navy's defense can't replicate Notre Dame's offense. Notre Dame's upgraded a quarterback significantly this year. I watched last year's game. It was over. It was over the total 20 minutes in the game. So what's your thoughts on this Notre Dame Navy total? I still like over 50.5.
I can't wait for this game. I mean, you and Fez are going head-to-head. I know some people in a couple college football chats I'm in where we're going head-to-head in this one. It's gone over. It's gone back under. I mean, and it's, you know what, first game of the season. It's in its own time slot. I just can't wait for the bragging rights for this one. Whoever cashes this, I don't even have like a massively strong opinion on this game. I thought Navy, getting 21 was, kind of a smallish play for me. Now mostly around, 19.5, 20. I know you are bullish on the over. I know some other people bullish on the under. I think you're going into this big unknown here of like, what does the Navy offense exactly look like? How much of a, passing attack, increased passing attack are we going to get? Is it going to be efficient? Are they actually going to play it? How prepared is Notre Dame going to be for it? So I think this is one much like, what we've talked about, in the Big Ten preview with Wisconsin doing this dramatic shift in offense. It's like, I don't really know what I'm going to get here. So I know you've had a strong take on it. Some other people have had strong takes the other way. I don't really have, because I think I'm getting this massive unknown quantity that I don't really know what it's going to look like. So, yeah, I do. I mean, from a Notre Dame standpoint, Hartman should really be able to cook a lot of what Navy's going to be trying to do here in the secondary. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, Notre Dame, really try and lay a number here in his first start at home. So if they were able to get, 35-42 themselves, then, you should be in pretty good shape there.
Yeah. I think they're very capable of it. They got 35 in the first half last year. So and that was with a shitty quarterback. Now, I will give Navy credit. They adjusted. They went all out, cover zero blitz every single play in the second half. Notre Dame couldn't do anything, but there were some hot routes that were missed by Drew Pine. Notre Dame team total over. I think there's obviously correlation. You like the over. You're probably going to lean more towards the Notre Dame side. You like Navy against the spread. You're going to lean more under there. Let's get to a few other games here. Ohio, San Diego State. Our first pick that we gave out as far as a week 1 game was courtesy of you. You liked Ohio. You said, hey, guys, we got to get this critical 5.5 number here, a key number in football. We can't let the market play out and go to 6. We got to take care of 5.5. But I agree with you. I was pouncing, ready to bet Ohio. We went ahead and went for it. The market is not bought back at all. In fact, I think it probably closes 3. Anything that you've read here in the last couple months has you off Ohio. I still like to play Knish as long as we're getting more than 3.
Yeah, I agree. I know if you can, there's still some 3.5s out there. I'd still play that. There had nothing that's, Rourke looks everything good to go. I think Ohio, usually I'm MAC teams out of conference on the road, and in the non-con isn't exactly my wheelhouse for love, but I'm not a buyer on San Diego State at all. I think some of their offensive resurgence, it seems they've kind of gotten away from their identity, which worked for a while. I don't think their defense is going to be as good. I don't think this new scheme where we're going to try and throw a little more is going to work particularly well. And I just don't think they'll be able to keep up with what Ohio can do with their passing offense under Rourke. So it's one of those where, if you don't like the MAC teams when they're, going out and they have this massive talent discrepancy, and some of the, I don't feel like this is one of those games here. First week, I don't think the travel is going to be any type of, if this was mid-year and you're having to go out of conference, to the West Coast, so it doesn't make as much sense for me. So to me, I still think 3.5 is good there. And it probably trades. I think you will see some buy if this goes through the 3, some 2.5. I think then you'll finally see some San Diego State buyers. Yeah. I'm sure there's some people that sat out, like us, grab some numbers early that would want to trade some back there. So and I see a little bit of the screen lighting up now. So if you still have a 3.5, that's I would still grab that. But I think you probably see this close right around the 3 mark.
Agree. Another interesting matchup as far as at least the competitive point spread. UTEP Jacksonville State. We've seen a lot of money come on.
They're going way back and forth.
Yeah. I played around a little bit. I saw 3 points off of one bet, not even a big bet. So I played around. I originally bet Jacksonville State, took some 3.5 on UTEP, was very happy to bet. Line movement, as far as my power ratings go, I thought, UTEP deserved to be about a 1-point favorite. I mean, that's what I have in my power ratings right now. So I don't see any value right now. I mean, obviously Jacksonville State's an unknown, new to the FBS. Rich Rod's still a decent coach. I mean, don't believe me. They're a pretty good FCS team last year. Went 9-2 in his first year. They'll be fired up to play their first FBS game. I will say a matchup advantage for Utah, and why I've agreed with the movement from UTEP going from dog to favorite. The UTEP offensive line is really strong. 4 starters back. I mean, you turn on the tape against Boise State. I mean, that was super impressive. I mean, they didn't even try to throw. They just lined it up and mashed Boise State on a Friday night last season. And then, watching some Jacksonville State film, they got some athletes on the defensive line, but they're massively undersized. So that is one to keep an eye on, where UTEP might wear down Jacksonville State in the second half of that one. But right now, I would say only lean UTEP. What say you, Knish?
Yeah, no, I like your the cap there. I think Rich Rod teams have been notorious for he likes to run that 3-3-5 stack. They like to be undersized. Doesn't match up well. If you were around when he was at Michigan, it didn't work very well in the Big Ten, that defense. And it was a little better at Jacksonville State, but as you said, I think that's a very savvy analysis there. That teams that can line up and pound them hasn't been great. Now on the flip side, I do think the Jacksonville State offense, will be pretty potent this year. It's a team that I think, in the revamped Conference USA will be able to get some people, but don't totally love the matchup for them. But I agree with you. It was steaming there. I think it got up to 2. I don't know if you caught a 3. I got a little greedy, was looking for a 3 on UTEP when it was steaming on Jacksonville State. Never happened. Now it's bought all the way back. So, don't have a position on this one as it stands now. I think the number's all right, but I agree with you. Gun to my head, I'd play UTEP, but I haven't got invested either way.
As you can see, there's some disagreement in the market there. You can get both teams a little bit extra juice there. You don't take it. I don't anticipate getting any more involved in that one. M. Halbany in the chat. I'll get to a couple of his questions. Georgia, Tennessee. When I lay 7.5 with Georgia in the game of the year market, I didn't bet that one. That sounds about right. I think I have Georgia's 9 by 9, so maybe a slight edge there. Not worth for me. I would not for a 1.5. Not through any key number. I'm not tying up my money on that one, but I have Georgia 9 there. UTEP under 6 wins also by him. A question. I bet over 5. I made it 6, so I don't see value there. I bet over 5 on UTEP. Did you do anything on their win total for the Miners?
No, I actually, actually, I bet a little. I know we talked New Mexico State on here futures, but I also bet some UTEP when there was. I think there was a 16-1. Might even like I've got some piece of 16, maybe a little 20, and a little 4. So honestly, I think as you said, they're a little. I think they can be live in conference. Here's one conference where I thought some of the longer dogs had actual value. So if you haven't listened to that conference preview, cue that one up. But no, I wouldn't. I don't want to play under 6 there. I think numbers about right, and if anything, I'd lean them to actually go over that at 6.
Love the money coming in Ohio. Keep in mind, guys, if you're make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Knish gave it out 5.5 about 2 months ago. So
that was when we we were trying to find some value early that we thought would close pretty well, and I think that one even still has a little bit. So
let's talk about one you and I as we get through this month might have a head to head.
I feel like I know where you're going.
Yeah, the matchup, the headliner. It's on the ESPN Saturday night game. We're talking Massachusetts, New Mexico State. New Mexico State.
I thought you were going the North Carolina, South Carolina.
No, I'm going.
But no, UMass. We're going to the bigger way, though. UMass, New Mexico State. Is game day going to be in Santa Fe?
I don't think so. I think they're going to Atlanta for the Jackson State, South Carolina State game. Missed opportunity. I will say the guys in the chat, if they put those numbers up, we'll be firing on this program on some FCS. That's what I've been working on lately here. What say you on Massachusetts, New Mexico State? A lot of money on the under, some money on the dog here. I know you kind of like New Mexico State. I do too this year. I just don't. A team like that, I can't be laying more than a touchdown with. And I think Massachusetts defense is legit. And they were, at least for them, by their comparison, I mean, under Don Brown last year, I thought they did a good job. So I think we're looking at a 24-17 type of game. What say you?
Yeah, I'm with you here. And again, I like New Mexico State this year. I think they got a chance in your Conference USA. I love what Jerry Kill has done, but again, this is going to be a pretty tough one to stomach all around from a watchability standpoint. You might want to. This is the same time at Ohio, San Diego State. I'll definitely have the Ohio game on the main, not this one. But as you said, I mean, total now in the low 40s. It's a Don Brown, as you said, Don Brown, what can he do? But he can coach defense, plays super aggressive style, that man defense. I think a lot of teams struggle. Like Ohio State didn't struggle against it, but, when he was at Michigan, that defense, for the majority of the season was lights out. I think he's turned it around in pretty, quick fashion. He's got a lot of recruiting tries up there in the Northeast, too. He's been able to find some gems in terms of players to get in from the portal and from the Yanks. So, yeah, I think that defense, the offense is still going to be terrible. But, their defense should be pretty formidable. And as you said, New Mexico State team, to lay over a touchdown here, it's one that I'll tell you, and I know you had given out some, I think you were able to get some 10 early, jumped on some of that with you. I think that this is one of those games that kind of, if you like to take to middles, if you were with, the power steam early on some of the 10, it's a really nice middle game. I think it's another one that you might see close around 7, and there'd be buyers at 6.5. I think it's between 7 and 10 middle shot is real live here. So I think it could be an ugly one. But yeah, I wouldn't. it would need to come down further for me to get any interest in New Mexico State.
Couple more questions in the chat, and then we will see if we can get a best bet for today's show. For those that have stayed with us through the technical difficulties, again, I apologize on that. Ryan, again, that wasn't one of my favorites. Did you do anything with Arkansas State? I did bet under 4.5 plus money. I certainly lean that way.
No, I don't have a either way. That would be the lean I would have. But I didn't take a position on Arkansas State either. Santa Fe, New Mexico. I know it's I got to look up the city, New Mexico
Las
State.
Cruces, man.
Las Cruces, baby. Santa Fe. At least it's a 30-minute drive maybe to Santa Fe. Either way, in beautiful New Mexico. So hey, there's no shortage of great towns in the Great Plains, Great West there.
Great Southwest. I've been there. I was there last year. I liked it, honestly. Las Cruces, not too far from El Paso. I can see why there's a rivalry there. Let's get to a couple more questions. Andrew in the chat, Minnesota 6.5 against fourth on that. I don't know. I'm kind of down on Oscars a little bit this year relative to expectation. Matt Rule's done really well at all of his FBS jobs, but he's had seasons at these jobs, whether it be Temple or so I kind of that, article that came out about Fleck and the culture. I mean, that always concerns you a little bit, but I think that was kind of much to do about nothing there. What say you, Knish?
You know what? There was I think Circa opened a flat 6, so I played some Minnesota there. To be honest with you, I would, if I didn't have that 6, I'd be adding a little 6. It's not a game I want to have a massive position on, but we did the Big Ten preview. My favorite win total was Nebraska under 6.5. I think this Matt Rule year one, based on the roster he inherited and the offense that they're trying to run there, can be pretty ugly. Now, no, Minnesota's not a team that's going to, light you up from, offensive standpoint themselves. But I just think, at Minnesota, they'll be too. I don't think Nebraska really has the formidability on the lines and the trench depth to go head to head with Minnesota yet. I think it's a style of play that Rule wants to get to. I don't think they're there yet. I'm not sure Nebraska can really keep up there in this one. So I know the mid-40s total Big Ten game doesn't scream you want to lay a bunch of points, but I laid 6. If it gets I would wait on this one to see if you can get a flat 6. I don't think it would dip too far under that. But if anything,
I'll bet more Minnesota if that's the case.
I would agree. there. So yeah, I'm gonna sit on the position I'm at and see if I can add a little more at better numbers.
Couple more games. When the market's basically painted 10, I mean, around a relatively key number. If you can get that, I mean, I would make that bet on FIU against La Tech there in week 0. Conference game, getting that hook there. But answers, I think they got high upside. We'll see, though. I'm not wild about laying double digits in a conference game in week 0. Hawaii, a live dog. I do lean Hawaii against Vanderbilt. I preferred them against Stanford, though. That's the week 1 game. I'm there on week 0. I would lean that way with Hawaii. What say you, Knish?
Yeah, I'm with it. I played a little Hawaii early there. I know it's come down a bit. It's a little tough there, but I think we'll see. I think we'll kind of see I'm a believer in the Jimmy Chang era, at least offensively. I think it'll be a little bit more potent offense this year, and a team that especially when you're going to Hawaii has can be a little bit more difficult to play there on the island with their offense. So I'm kind of not a buyer in terms of like they're going to do anything fantastic. In terms of a buyer that I like them to cover some of these spreads early on. And I know we gave out Iowa under in the Big Ten. I kind of already knew the Iowa State thing coming out there. That didn't change. I haven't bought off my position. Still on under 8.5 there.
There you go.
I don't I mean, it's more of a, and I know that game now it becomes more winnable. First of all, I don't think it's a lock. Like, I don't think going into Iowa State you can play. I mean, this is not the Cyhawk game is not one where fantastic QB play has been part of the dance. So, and I know they have a pretty easy schedule, but I'm not a believer in the Iowa program. But kind of what they so, and I think some of the teams in the Big Ten West are right there with them in terms of that. So, yeah, I'm still on the under 8.5 there, and haven't taken any off of it.
Paul in the chat, UConn plus 17 on that first Thursday night against NC State. I did bet UConn in that game. 18 is the number I got. I think 17 or more I'm fine with. I'm anxious to see what NC State does offensively, though. A lot of money on the under for a team that's going to a heavy pass attack. So, I mean, I'll probably talk myself into maybe an over bet there in that game. But did you play any Connecticut on that opening Thursday night?
No, I was actually, there's some folks that were looking at me to actually, play back. So we were kind of waiting in the weeds there to see how far this one would dip down. I don't think we'll see a 14, but I agree. It's kind of if you get a 17.5, 18 early, that was a good buy on you. I'd probably be back on NC State at some point if this keeps coming down. But where it's at currently, no strong opinion.
Let's talk that North Carolina-South Carolina game. That'll be the game
baby.
day. We're seeing some money on North Carolina.
Yep.
I'm not afraid to admit I'm part of it. I think 3 is a good number, though. We'll go head-to-head, I think, eventually on this one as we get closer. But, I'm guessing you like South Carolina in this one?
Well, I mean, I think this is one that if you haven't bet North Carolina yet, I think you kind of miss. It's one where if this gets through this 3, I think I'll have to. And again, it's more of a, for me, I am not a someone that's going to be sell you on South Carolina as an absolute juggernaut. This is more of a North Carolina fade for me. I'm not high on both teams to either one. It'd just be one. I'd be playing a number there at 3.5. I know it's a juiced one at Caesars. Gonna wait a little bit more. I know yourself and some other serious people I know we're coming in on North Carolina pretty heavily. So this is one I think I'm gonna keep waiting. See if I can get a cheaper 3.5 and see what happens more towards game day. But we'll probably be on South Carolina there at some point.
2 more. These are the last 2, I promise. Onion Man, Illinois against Toledo. I do still like it. I know there's some Toledo money coming in. Toledo's probably a little bit better than what I originally thought, going through deep diving them position by position, but I still like Illinois up front on that offensive line against Toledo's main question mark on their entire team to me is their defensive line. So I just, and look, I watched last year. Everyone told me Wyoming against Illinois, and everyone bet it left and right. And Illinois just fucking smashed them at the line of scrimmage. And I just, Bielema, if you go back, he's building Illinois like Wisconsin. Wisconsin in these games against group of 5 teams, he would just run right over them and continue to smash them. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to crush them, but, man, I would lay 9.5 still. I mean, I think the number should be at least 10. That's me on the Illinois-Toledo game. So, but there seems to be some resistance there. What the hell? Are you against me on this one?
No, I think that, just from a, if you're a raw number perspective, I don't see a ton of value, but in a styles make fights thing, as you said, with the comparison that Toledo, I mean, what they really struggled with last year in the MAC was stopping the run and controlling the run, and now going up against a team that's going to have, a significant upgrade in offensive line and strength and power. I just think it's a bad matchup for them, where they would need to do a lot on offense to kind of keep up and cover this number. So, I don't have a disagreement there now that some places have gone back through 10.
Do you have a best bet? Otherwise, I'll give one.
Fire it up, baby. No, I was going to, Tommy Drake there. And a couple people have said this. I agree. I played some, I don't even, they've got so many pendings now. I think A&M was playing, it's actually, now there's some.
Down to 37.5 and some.
Yeah, there's a 37.5 out there again. I agree. I think New Mexico is horrid, and you're going to want to see Texas A&M put up a big number. I mean, they're going to want to, when we just talked about the Harbaughs and the Urban Meyers, they need a big time dub. Also, Bobby Petrino gave a very articulate interview yesterday that I looked at. I think he basically didn't want to throw Jimbo under the bus, but in a lot of words said that it's his offense. He's going to be doing the play calling. I think they'll, really want to put up a number there and be in offense, significant increase in tempo, be improved. So yeah, I think they kind of absolutely bury New Mexico in that game. So yeah, I had 37.5. There's a couple out there. I'd still play it. I think that's the number I played.
I'll lay it. I bet it at 8.5. I think anything under 10, I own it as a best bet. We'll have more best bets as we get closer to game time. I bet almost every single game at this point. So, and I'm sure some stuff's going to come back around a little bit. So we'll have plenty of best bets, but I'll sign me up for Illinois. I'm fine with that one. You didn't have a big disagreement. I think number should be 10. I mean, a half point does matter, especially around a relatively key number. We'll have more. I'll have more games with some value as we get closer. I'm in the wait, even myself personally, unless I'm betting specific injury news, I'm kind of in the wait and see mode these next couple of weeks, playing, kind of seeing what the market does. If there's not many injuries, I'm kind of laying in wait. So is that where you're at right now?
Yeah, for sure. And I know some people, it was a little choppy. Illinois minus 9.5 was Brad's best bet there. I know you played it some early, but yeah. There we go. Just to clarify, so people can get it or scoop it up if you're out there shopping around. So I don't have any disagreement there, getting it under 10. And yeah, as you said, this is kind of the mode where a lot of the numbers have been out there, and you're just doing some kind of news reaction, seeing what leaks out, seeing what comes out off of camp, seeing what. If there's any injuries, as you say, following some of the new stuff. So, I think, it's a good time to see actually what's happening in some of the camp places. Good to be back. Good to be back with a little taste of the live show and getting it started here. I can taste it, baby. A couple of weeks away.
Next couple of weeks before the season starts. I'll split up here, Knish.
No, that's good. We listen. The guy,
guys, make sure you're hitting that.
Go ahead. No, we were chopping in and out there. I was just saying, you're taking a job with Barstool. All of a sudden, now the internet. I'm not saying you. What is he trying to do here? On the show. So, I don't know what. Maybe a little self-infliction there.
There you go. We will have some spirited conversations, I'm sure, on that as we move through the season. That is the man, the myth, legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish. Make sure you're subscribed to Hit the Books YouTube channel so you get notified in real time whenever a new episode drops or we go live. If you do enjoy the content, please smash the like button. If you're listening in audio form, please rate and review 5 stars. For Zach Phillips, Joey Knish, I'm Brad Powers. You just watched Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network.